All right, yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 3 p.m. here in New Vienna. That means it's time for another live stream. It is Sunday, November 1st. We made it to a new month. 2020 is almost to an end. We made it to November and survived the night. Yesterday could have been pretty dicey, I think. It was a weekend, Halloween, on a full moon in 2020 where anything goes. But as far as I know, most people made it out okay. I made it out okay. I'm a little tired today, though. My family's a little tired and a little bit heavy on the sugar last night, but we're here. We're doing fine. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Let's see who's here. All right, we've got David Prabhu's here saying, yo, what's going on? Chris Yow's here as well, and he watched Alive last night after dropping the kids off at the activities. Then we all watched Hereditary together after getting home. Spooky night for sure. I haven't seen that one. I'm not aware of that one. I did not finish watching Alive. I was busy this morning trying to get that Boston 9 video out, and I knew that would take a little bit. So I didn't get a chance to watch the rest of it. And then I was going to try and catch a little bit more of it today, because for those of you who weren't here yesterday, we did kind of a watch party for the hashtag Alive movie, the Korean zombie movie. But this afternoon, the girls and I all went out for a hike on the Heritage Trail. So we did that. And then when we came back, my father-in-law was watching The Longest Yard, like on TV, like the Comedy Central version of it. So somehow I got sucked into that for like the last half hour, 45 minutes. So that's why I didn't finish watching Live. But I do want to get to the end of that because it was good. And, you know, one of the things I was thinking about in that movie, there's that point in the movie that we watched together yesterday where the guy, he's like on his balcony and he's standing and he's looking down and all the zombies are like trying to like see like, how do I eat that? You know, they were looking up at him. And I feel like at that moment through his mind is going like, you know, I should just drop. I'm going to get eaten eventually. Why like delay the inevitable? I'm just going to become a zombie too. I will just succumb to the zombie horde. And I was like, it's a really weird way to be drawn parallel to like everything that's going on in 2020. But I'm like, I feel like that's a lot of people's attitude towards things in 2020. It's like, you're going to get it anyway. Might as well get it now. So it was kind of a weird, I don't know. Maybe it's like not the right time for me to watch Alive, but I'm probably going to watch it anyway. All right. Frank Lahoudrier, he says, everybody heard of Rachel Drake before? I don't think I'm familiar. Justin McClary says, how's everyone's weather? Still a solid 80 degrees here in Texas, wanting some cool weather. Wow, that sounds nice. It is, oh man, this morning's run was so tough. I was looking forward to it because daylight savings, we were going to have an earlier sunrise. The sun was like starting to rise by the time I got out there for my run. I even got there like out a couple minutes earlier than I had planned. I felt like everything was going well. But then temperatures were below freezing and the winds were sustained in like the mid 20s. And it was demoralizing out there. It was one of those days where, you know, running against the wind is hard enough. And then the gusts make it feel like you're moving or you're working hard, but you're not actually moving. That was that kind of day today. But yeah. And then when we're out on the hike today, like we picked the Heritage Trail and a specific part of it because it would have some tree cover. But in the times when we didn't have tree cover, it was brutal. It was pretty cold. So it's chilly out today here. Roadrunner Reviews is here. What's going on? Inez is here as well. Good to see you. I still love this little avatar that he has of Pip the dog wearing a shirt and tie. That's amazing. I want that as like my regular like the next time I give a presentation. I don't know when I would ever give a presentation again, but if I ever do give another presentation, I want that to be like the headshot that they use for me when I speak somewhere. That'd be fun. Rain Runner is here. Awesome. Philip Bourne. What's going on? Martha's here as well. Remy's here. He says cooking with Co as usual. Awesome. I love the wave emojis. Good to see that. And Mark Schenko says, greetings all. Boxed wine time. Oh, that sounds nice. I'm feeling a lot better from the little head cold thing that's been going on. I still haven't had any alcohol in like pretty much about a week now, just to kind of like, you know, make sure I'm not doing anything to delay the recovery and just kind of kick this sinus infection. I'm just about done with it. So JC says, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Justin McClary, I think you're in the wrong part of Texas. Awesome. Kevin Bickerton is here. Good to see you again, Kevin. Awesome. All right. So today, let's see. Martha says it's in Colorado mountains. It's warmed up a little and very sunny. Nice. All right. Oh my God, so other really great comments to get to today. Today, what I do want to do and go over today, because I want to start using some of this stuff, but I thought it'd be fun to do some mail time. I have 3 packages. I got 2 of these bags. Everything that I have today from a disclosure perspective was sent to me by Roadrunner Sports. So none of this is stuff that I bought. I'll recognize it when I see it. I picked it out from like a list of things. That's what they do. They're like, here's a list of things that you can pick from if you want to try some stuff out. So I have 2 pieces of apparel in here. Oh, and then I've also got a box. I didn't want to show this to you guys right away, but it's in a New Balance box. So I accidentally did that wrong, but we'll get to that in just a second. And I've got an unboxing knife this time. This is a pocket knife that my in-laws got for me a while ago. And then the last time we were in Chicago, I made sure to pick it up. So I would have a proper unboxing knife. There were some other comments that I want to make sure I get to before I do that, though. Let's see. All right, Philip Barnes said, anyone ever stepped on a scale before and after a run? Did so today. 72.4 kilograms before the run. And only 16K later, I was 70.9. Wow, that seems like a lot. So 1.5 kilos, that's at like 2.5. What's the conversion? I don't even know the conversion rate. So it's like, that's several pounds. Wow. That's more than I would expect after 16K. I mean, unless it's really hot where you are, even then, I wouldn't expect to lose that much sweat weight. Interesting. Bert Legas says, now that our daylight savings times are in sync, I can join again. Awesome. Glad to see that. All right. Martha said, did you consume more sugar yesterday or during the mukbang when you tasted all those running fuels? You know, I don't think I really ate. Personally, I didn't eat that much sugar yesterday. I think I had a couple of like chocolate coins. Because here's the thing, like for my daughter, I try not to eat too much of the kids' candy because of the fact that a lot of the stuff that we buy, we have to buy from like a specialty candy or chocolatier or candy maker, so that it's peanut safe, or we have to like not special order it, but like we get like Canadian Kit Kats because those are made in a peanut-free facility, and those are safe, and they say peanut-free like right on it. So like, because it's harder to get those, you know, I try really hard not to eat the kids' candy. One of the neighbors had brought over some candy for our kids to eat, and none of it was safe for them to eat. So I ate that. But I think overall, I did have a couple of Charleston chews, like some of my mother-in-law's candy that she was giving out for the neighborhood. I did have some of those. I probably had more sugar on the mukbang day because that's like 80 grams when I do that in an hour. And I might have had 80 grams of sugar, extra sugar, like candy-wise yesterday, but it would have also been spread out if I even got close to that. So I think I had more on Monday. And I'll probably have more tomorrow, too, for tomorrow's mukbang. Because tomorrow I'll do the what is it? The honey stinger chews. That should be interesting. All right. Oh, Danny J says, oh, hey, I thought there was no live stream today. No, live stream today for sure. We're here. Mark Jankoko said, you totally made me want to run the Boston tomorrow. You should, if you got them, go do it. It's a good day. I mean, now's a good time as any. And so, you know, lots of people have been commenting on that Boston 9 video, and some people are still running in the Boston 8, the one with Light Strike. And here's what I'm remembering now. Like, even my memory wasn't refreshed even when I was like thinking about it and making the video, is that Boston 8 with Light Strike came out early enough that people that wanted to train and prepare for 2020 Boston in April would have had a fresh pair of Bostons to run in. and it would have had the Light Strike version. And then I think the Boston 9 with the unicorns, I think came out like before the Boston Marathon originally was supposed to go, but you wouldn't have had a ton of time to like. It wouldn't have been the shoe you trained in. It might have been like the new pair that you picked up for the race, and so like that reminded me of that. But it also reminded me of the fact that that Boston 8 with Light Strike is really cheap, and it's still. I didn't run in the Light Strike version. I ran in the original version, but I imagine it's still very good. So there's so many like really cheap options right now. All right. Elias W says, any interest in a 2020-2021 updated winter essentials video? Running through my first Chicago winter and want to be prepared. Elias, it's coming up. I've already ordered a bunch more tights because like I could make that video now with like the stuff that I already have, but I think that's going to be annoying and counterproductive to a lot of people because of the fact that like some of that stuff you can't buy anymore. Just because like that particular like style or that like particular item unit is no longer for sale. So I bought like not all fresh new stuff, but I bought a bunch of fresh new things that I'm going to be able to talk about and test out from a couple of brands that I haven't really run in a lot before either. So there'll be some kind of like new names in there, some old names that are pretty familiar, some stuff that you probably already have seen on the channel if you've been watching me run the past couple of weeks. But that video is coming soon. But like it's gonna probably, I'm gonna get it out before Thanksgiving. That's for sure. But it'll probably be like maybe the week after I do, maybe in like 2 weeks or so, because I got a couple more things that I just want to test out. But it's coming. All right. Martha always pulls up the good cowbells. Danny G deserves a cowbell for having 4 dental crowns today after a 20-mile run. Man, all right, we'll go with that. That's a lot of dental crowns. Good job, Danny. Oh, I hope you're all right. Here's a question that I'll ask everybody. If you had to have a 20-mile run or 20-plus mile run and 4 crowns, which would you rather have first? I'd rather have the run first and then the crowns. Just so like the way that Danny did it. Because then I might be tired enough after the 20-mile run to just kind of relax a little bit more in the chair. Plus, if you had any like, although like maybe you needed 4 crowns because your mouth was hurting, and then the impact from all that could have been really miserable. So I guess it depends on how much pain you were in before that. But I think I would rather do the 20-mile run first and then the crowns. That's just me. All right. Jody says, watching news, and I'm so surprised to see buildings being boarded up due to the election. I'm hoping it's just news sensationalizing it. I've seen that too, and they're reporting that like in DC and in New York, people are boarding stuff up. I find that surprising. DC, I don't find as surprising, but the New York one I do find a little bit surprising. Now they were saying today, I forget what channel I was watching, but I was watching one of the news channels today saying like the big thing or like the most notable business that started boarding up already today's Saturday. So it would have had to have happened on Friday. Was the Macy's is it the one in Times Square? I think the one in Times Square. And in earlier riots or protests and riots in New York, that's a building that sustained a lot of damage already. And so I'm like, oh, okay, maybe. I guess I get it. But it does seem like, I don't know, seems a little early. But then I guess, are you like going to be like, if you're thinking that you might do that anyway, are you going to like be like, let's see how things go on Tuesday? Or are you just going to do it like, well, let's get it done before the weekend, then we could just relax come Tuesday? Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not really sure how that goes. It seems a little bit, I mean, I hope that none of that's necessary. I could see it being necessary in DC. But I suppose in New York too. Yeah, I don't know. Rainrunner says, I haven't run in a few days, and now I'm on an island off Washington State with lots of country roads. Do y'all run the same side as traffic or always opposite? Anyone? I think that the way you're supposed to do it is to run opposite traffic. I don't normally do it that way. And I'm aware that I'm not normally, you're really supposed to do it that way. But it just seems safer for everyone involved, in my opinion, for me to be with the flow of traffic. It seems really aggressive and rude in my mind to run against the flow of traffic, especially around here. There's a lot of big trucks on dirt roads and blind curves. And so like if you're going against the flow of traffic and there's a large truck coming down a hill, making a sharp turn towards like you, I guess, towards the right, then when it sees you, it's going to be surprised and then swerve. Yeah, I don't know. That's why I just, that scares me. So like, even if when I am running the correct way, quote unquote, air quotes, on the opposite side of traffic, whenever there's a curve, I always go to the outer part of the curve. So that way everyone has the best chance of seeing me from as far as possible. So that's one of the things that I do. But I hope you enjoy running on an island off the coast of Washington. Sounds really nice right now. It also sounds like the beginning of like a zombie movie, since we're on the topic kind of zombie movies, or a Lifetime movie. But I think that everything that happens in like the Seattle, Vancouver kind of area is like this could be a Lifetime movie. All right. Nikki Gazdag is here. What's going on, Nikki? Sean Marshall is here as well. He says it's windy in Ohio today. Yeah. Yeah. Windy everywhere, I think. Danny says zombie melancholy. If a zombie infection really occurred during COVID, people would definitely just give up and go zombie. Oh, yeah, I think so all the time. I think that, I mean, people are doing that now for COVID, and it doesn't turn you into a flesh-eating monster. So, yeah, I think people would. You know, it's a faster way of achieving herd immunity against zombieism, I suppose. You get antibodies, and then you're good. Yeah, I don't know. I think those jokes maybe are too soon. I don't know. All right, Frank, giving us update on the Golden Trail today. The first was the woman, Rachel Drake, was it? And he said both winners the Golden Trail today were American. Walmsley won finally and got second overall, and second, King of the Mountain. Oh, awesome. Cool. Yeah. All right. Let's get to the first package. So I'm going to do this one while we're here, and this one I'm going to go from like smallest to biggest. So this is the smallest bag, and see what's in here. Like it definitely takes long enough. Not that it takes a long time between the time that like I kind of select what I'm gonna review next from Roadrunner Sports and when it gets here, that it is generally a surprise when I see what's in the bag. So whenever I use a knife to open packages, I'm always very concerned that I'm going to end up cutting what's inside it. Oh, okay. Nice. This is more stuff from Corsa, which is kind of the brand that, it's one of the two brands that Roadrunner Sports owns. There's the R-Gear stuff, which is, I generally like a lot of the R-Gear stuff. And then there's Corsa. And then this is a pair of running pants. So it's got a little bit of an extra color from like the knee down on the side. And then it's got a zipper pocket up here, and then a regular pocket, and then another pocket on the other side, and then even two back pockets. So it's built more as kind of like a gym pant because it got two back zipper pockets than it is like a running pant, but I'm going to be running in this one for sure. It's called the Men's Corsa Tailspin Tech Pant. So here's what they look like. So a little bit, it seems like it's a little bit roomy at the top and then tapers down a little bit, but not super tight. It's not like cuffed or anything at the bottom. So we'll test that out, see how that works out. Probably take that for my run tomorrow. I have to check the temperatures though, because the material here is a little bit thin. So I think I can run with this in the temperatures that we got right now. All right, let's get to the next package while we're on the clothes. Oh, okay. R gear. Speaking of the R gear, I forgot that they were going to send me these. They sent me 3 more pairs of socks, and it says your most luxurious sock in the world. I feel like these are fitting to have like for an election that involved Donald Trump. So these are the classiest socks that you're ever going to own. But they're actually different colors. I thought there were 3 the same, but this one is, see, there's 3, or at least there's 2 different colors. A grayer one, and then 2 black ones, I think. But I do like my other R Gear socks. They're really nice. These seem to be a little bit thicker. They've got a little bit more to them. So a little bit more structure, a little bit more padding on the Achilles. So I kind of like these. I've always liked the R Gear socks. I feel like I don't need like super anti-blister protection for socks. And so sometimes when I buy socks and they're like $12 a pair, I'm like, this seems like a lot to pay for socks. But the R Gear ones, a little bit more value, but they're still definitely running socks. So we'll check these out and see how they do. And then also in this bag was, and I'm pretty excited about this one, it is another piece from Corsa, and it is a, what do they call these, half zips? And it's black. It's got a reflective Corsa logo in the bottom. And all these like little braille like nubby things, they're reflective too. So pretty excited to check this one out. The material feels really nice, stretchy a little bit. It's called the Men's Corsa Unchartered Half Zip. So this comes in a lot of colors, but only the black one has the reflective dots up front. But definitely excited for this. I always size down when I get stuff from Corsa because everything seems to be a little bit on the big size. So I get everything a size. I normally get medium and everything, but I get size small when I get Corsa stuff. But looking forward to all that stuff. All right. Yeah, and it says like the running top. I'm really looking forward to it. They've been doing a lot of good stuff with like repeating patterns, like dots. I guess mainly a lot of dots. And then like like the heathered patterns where it's like a little bit like not just a solid gray or a solid like navy, some like texture to the color. I've been really liking some of their prints. Yeah, Leona Monk says like all the reflective features. Yeah, someone was asking me about doing something about, was it you, Leona? Was asking me to do a video about like reflective gear. I don't have a lot of reflective gear. And I normally don't seek it out. The main reason for that is because typically in Chicago, I'm running along the lakefront. So there aren't cars out there. So I'm not usually that worried about cars. And even when I'm run commuting, I usually run along the lake. And there's not a lot of cars. So I normally don't think about it too much. The only time normally that I'm worried about like visibility is when I am around here and it's like a hunting season. So that's a different kind of visibility to be worried about. But it's something that I am thinking about a little bit more. What I would love though is like, I don't watch a lot of the America's Got Talent or any shows like that, or like, the shows with like whenever there's like dance crews and like there's like 12 dudes and they're all like highly choreographed and very like acrobatic. I love the ones when like they're dancing and all of a sudden like the lights all turn off and they're wearing like reflective clothes and it like seems to glow. Like I want to run like that. That's like something that I've been wanting to work on, and I just don't know. I don't have the skill set to do it. Although I should probably just collab with my mother-in-law because she's really good at sewing. Is to try and find a way to use like the LEDs and like sew them into fabric. And what I would love to be able to have is like a banshee type of costume where I basically just have frills like all over my body, but that have LEDs like sewn into them. And then I'm running and it's all just like flailing in the wind. Like that's something that I've been wanting to do as well. I should have really dropped the ball so hard this Halloween. I really should have figured that out. Stevie76 says hunters in the cornfields. Not in the cornfield, but there could be, well, I guess there might be because there's deer out here. I see deer regularly. We actually saw deer like behind the house the other day. My mother-in-law was just like looking out the side window and she was like, everybody come over here, hurry. And there was like 3 deer just like hanging out in the neighbor's driveway. But there's that. When I do run in the New Wine Park, for whatever reason, part of this public park, like this, I think it's a state park. No, it's a county park. I think it's a county park, is also public hunting land. So like when we've been hiking through there and like when it was a little bit warmer, it was a squirrel season. And so when we were running through, when I was going through there with the girls, we saw like dudes in full fatigues and like really little rifle. I mean, any rifle looks big to me, but like they were smaller rifles because they were hunting squirrels. So there's like that kind of stuff that's, you know, something that always concerns me. And a new sign along my regular route had some shotgun shell shot at it the other day. So, you know, there's people with guns in the area. And so I just want to make sure that there's no pretext under which I can accidentally get shot. You know. All right. Let's see. Sean Marshall says, guys, I'm trying to make homemade ginger ale right now, and I made a huge mistake of adding the simple syrup before the carbonation. It exploded everywhere. I did not know what the steps or the order of the steps are, but that sounds like a very funny problem. It sounds like a really gross problem. But I do love ginger ale. I don't drink sodas anymore, but like I really do miss ginger ale. Like occasionally I'll have like a Moscow Mule or something like that, something with some like booze with like a fizzy drink in it. But man, I gave up sodas and those kinds of drinks. Although I feel like if it was a homemade ginger ale, I would not pass it up. All right. Let's see. Diego Rafael Ma says, I'll have Blades of Glory, but with LEDs. Is that what happened in Blades of Glory? Like the movie with Will Ferrell? The thing that I was thinking about is for the Olympics that were in Korea, the Winter Olympics, they had that weird opening ceremony thing with all these drones, and it was like sponsored by Intel. So they had like 100 little drones that were all using some sort of AI to like fly as if they were like a school of fish. It was really weird. And at the same time for that Olympics, there were these snowboarders that had these vests. It looked like chainmail, but with lights, with like basically like Christmas lights on them. And I was like, I thought that was really cool. And I want to have a running version of that. But I'll look at Blades of Glory again, and maybe that's exactly what I want. It could be. All right. All right. Let's get to the box while we're at it. I think that would be a good time to do it. All right. So this is a box from a New Balance box. Usually, like the Roadrunner boxes come in a Roadrunner sports box. So it's unusual that it's coming in a New Balance box. But it looks like they had them sent to me straight from New Balance. So that would explain that. And I'm really not sure what to think about this shoe. I know what it is, but I'll show it to you guys. Because I don't know what color they're sending me. Or I've recently seen other colors that I didn't know existed. Mail stuff, and then here it is. Ooh, check these out. It is New Balance Fresh Foam More 2 Trail. Is that the full name of it? This just says, what? Look at the set. It's like the Fresh Foam More 2. It's a trail version. Although I don't know. Oh, see, it just says Fresh Foam More Trail. Because I think the Fresh Foam More didn't come in a trail version last year, did it? I don't think it did. And then there was a Fresh Foam More 2. And I was like, you call it More 2? They should have called it More again, or Even More, but they called it the Fresh Foam More 2. And now there's a trail version. And so, well, it's not pink. For whatever reason, it just looked pink for a second. But, yeah. So it's a lot lighter than it looks. and it's very red on the top. I think this is the only pair of red shoes that I have in the rotation right now. But I'm thinking, speaking of that New Wine Trail, it's going to start getting really gross over there in terms of things getting muddy. And I'm going to need some new trail shoes in the rotation. So I've got the Brooks Catamount that I'll be running in, but we'll see how this one does too. So interesting. This Fresh Foam material down here, very squeezably soft. I like it. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how much I like it because I didn't review the Fresh Foam more because I heard so many not great things about it. But we'll see how this one does. We'll definitely get one. Maybe I'll try. I'm gonna get over there. I was planning on going over there this week at some point anyway. So we'll have to see how this does over in those trails over there. It says trail on the inside. Nice. I like these colors. Red is not usually like my thing for shoes, but this is interesting. There's like a bungee cord in the back. It's like paracord in the back for the pull tab. I've not seen that before. I know Ginger Runner just made a video about it, but I haven't watched that yet because I feel like if Ginger Runner says something about it, I'm not going to be able to not think that about it. So like I'm definitely going to avoid that video and try and give my own thoughts on it. Martha says durometer test passed. Yeah, squeezably soft, so durometer test passed. Awesome. Jody says, I'm interested in seeing your review on these. Is the upper same as the New Balance 1080? No, it's not the same as the 1080. The 1080 is like, part of it was like neoprene. This is seems more like a regular mesh. And so, yeah, so it'd be interesting to see how it does. I'm going to try and get it. I think I'm going to wait for a day where it's going to be muddy over there. So we'll have to see how that goes. Cameron Bright said, have any of y'all tried the Fresh Foam Tempo? I got gifted a pair, and I don't know if I want to keep them. Yeah, I ran in them, I think, once or twice. And I had the opportunity to go get them when I was in Chicago last time, and I didn't get them. I left them there, if that gives you any idea. It was supposed to be a successor to the Zante Pursuit, which I did really like, but it was like a thin midsole shoe that was supposed to be for faster days. And that's what the Fresh Foam Tempo is supposed to be too. And I still have a lot of shoes that kind of fit in that category that I would rather run in than that one. But I mean, if you got it gifted, it's not a bad pair of shoes at all. But it's just not like a daily. It wasn't a daily trainer in my mind, that one. Danny J says, I never run in a New Balance. Yeah, I mean, New Balance has, there's like two sides to New Balance running. There's the numbered shoes, although even the numbered shoes have like really broken the mold in terms of what they are. But then they got like their shoes with weird names, like Zante Pursuit, although the Zante Pursuit doesn't exist anymore, like Fresh Foam Tempo and Fresh Foam More Trail. So they've got like kind of like the two sides, but like they're kind of overlapping. They're not like really separate anymore. Mark Chen Coco says, I wish I had trails around here so I could be more excited about trail shoes. I can relate to that. I definitely felt that in Chicago, where I was like, I really want to start running some of these trail shoes because they look like they're fun. But if I got them, it would just be like, yeah, I ran on them in some grass. It was flat and dry. You know, that's like the review that I'd be able to give them. So I was like, I'm not going to review these shoes because I don't have a means to put them through the paces. But here I've got at least a lot of dirt roads. And then I do have some parks and, crushed limestone trails available to me as well. So like now I have some opportunities. Philip Bourne says, I can't find the Fresh Foam More Trail version 2 on their website. It might be early. I think but I thought that when I looked at it, check out Roadrunner Sports' website because I think they have it there. Because I don't think this is pre-release. But it is unusual that I got it like directly from New Balance. So that's why I'm not sure if but I think it must be fully out right now. It might be just the Fresh Foam More Trail and maybe not the Fresh Foam. I'm calling it the Fresh Foam More version 2 Trail because they're on version 2 of the More, even though this is the first. I think this is the first trail. And I do find it really peculiar that like they are making a trail version of it because rather than calling it something else, because it's like I didn't think that the Fresh Foam More was successful enough to start building like a franchise around. You know what I mean? Like with the Pegasus, there was like the Pegasus Turbo, and then the Peg Trail, right? And then there's like the Winter Pegs. They didn't really get the sense that the Fresh Foam More was like. I was surprised that we even saw a second version, to be honest. And now that there's a trail version, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna I don't have a bad experience with the original Fresh Foam More, so I don't have anything negative to like peg it to. So I'm gonna try to go into it as objective as possible. I do need to do a little bit of research, to figure out like does it have a rock plate, things like that. But I'm just gonna throw them on and beat them up a little bit and see how they do. So that review will hopefully come up by like the end of this week. Not the review, but like the first run video. So we'll see. Rainrunner says, I've been loving the Beacon 2s as a casual walking around shoe. Yeah, I think the Beacon 2 is a great shoe. I still need to run in the Beacon 3. I still don't have that one. I need to get that one. That's still on my list. Ben Y says, have you seen the leak image of the 1080 version 11? I don't think I have. I might have, but I don't think so. It sounds familiar, but I don't think I have. Yeah, Carrie S says the 1080 V10 was so good. It was such a surprise to me because I was like, there's a lot of foam on this. So I mean, like if the Fresh Foam More Trail can kind of capture some of that like 1080, like the Fresh Foam X kind of goodness, and put it in a trail shoe, I think that's going to be pretty exciting. And it says, watching you and other YouTube shoe reviews, Kofuzi, there seems to be a shoe language that we need to learn with all these foams and cushioning. Yeah, I mean, it's all like trade names, right? And so like they all like Fresh Foam X, Fresh Foam Ground Contact. They're all different versions of Fresh Foam. It's kind of like, I always say Fresh Foam when I mean Flight Foam as well, which is ASICS new stuff. And then ASICS has Flight Foam Blast. They also have a shoe called the Dyna Flight. So like there's a lot of stuff that gets really confusing. But yeah, I suppose there needs to be, that's a good point though. I feel like there's probably a better way in the videos of like explaining here when I say Fresh Foam, that's like New Balance's midsole material and it's made out of blank. But I don't always know what it's made out of. And they vary. And then like sometimes even with like in New Balance, they'll tell you which of like the 3 or 4 different kinds of Fresh Foam it might be. But when it comes to fuel cell, they just say fuel cell, and it could be any of a number of different formulations of fuel cell for that foam. And so like, yeah, it's confusing to me. I'll tell you that, just getting the name straight. But I feel like, that's something that's a legacy that happens. I don't like some companies do it more than others, but like ASICS is one that does it a lot where like every aspect of the shoe, they give some sort of weird trade code name, so that way it sounds like there's more technology in it than there is. Like, where is it? I can't, like ASICS and Mizuno both do it. So like with ASICS, they'll say like they have like their X10, which is like their name for their outsole rubber formulation. And I don't know, there's like instead of just calling it, blown rubber outsole, they'll say X10 proprietary blown rubber outsole system, so it's a lot of words. And I think I need to do a better job of like cutting through that, helping people understand it. Chris Yao says he doesn't like the Fresh Foam Tempos. Get hot spots on the ball of the feet. Use them for casual wear now. Love the 1080 V10s and Beacon 3s though. And then someone else was saying, Carrie S said the Beacon 3 is a tempo shoe in my opinion, not really daily trainer. Oh, okay. I'll have to check that out. I mean, I felt like the Beacon 2 was extremely versatile. It could be a long run shoe, could be a tempo day shoe. So we'll see if the 3 is still that way, carries on that legacy, or maybe it's shifting because sometimes shoes do shift. All right. Jay Mendez Jr. says, do you guys believe in recovery footwear? I do. It's just nice. I just feel like it's comfortable to have. I typically only am using it though in the summer because there's UFOs. I love UFOs flip flops. Or their flip flops are good, but their slides are better. Um, that EVA that they have, super soft and squishy. I like it. Yeah, Mark Chancoco says, whenever I give up on a shoe for running, it gets downgraded to a gym shoe. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good way to still use it. Because like when you're in the gym, I mean, and you're not running, then as long as the shoe's not too tall or too squishy, then it'll work. And then unless you really need like a lot of like ankle support, then you might want like a proper cross trainer. But yeah, that or even like running on the treadmill. You know, the treadmill is bouncy, so like you don't need a lot of midsole protection for that. Estee AM says, do you stretch before or after you run? Also, do you warm up, cool down? Thanks. I don't really stretch, but I have a routine that I do before the run. And so it's my leg strength routine. So I've turned that into like a warm up. And so it's, like doing 10 squats, everything's body weight, then single leg lunges, then lateral lunges, then reverse lunges, then single leg deadlifts. And I do that before I run now. And I've been doing them lately with extra motion. So like on the squat, really getting down to like my butt's on the floor basically. And then my lateral lunges are actually more like, they call them Cossack squats, which sounds kind of racist to me, but that's the term that I saw for them. But I really like getting that big stretch as I'm doing the squat. I feel like it's really good for my knee, which has been bothering me a little bit, but also gets that range of motion that I'm looking for. For the warm up, I mean, some people think this is terrible advice, but for my warm up, I always take it easy the first mile. So I never do I won't do a workout that's like 8 miles hard, or 8 miles moderate. The first mile is always like 10 minutes, preferably or more, is like, just chill and easing into it. But these days I also put that like mini strength routine in front of it. And then cool down the same is just like making sure I don't go from like running super hard to just full stop. So when people do progression runs and it's like went faster, finish. I don't like that either. I like to have at least 10 minutes at the end where I'm like running relaxed and everything's just flowing. And then for my knee, sometimes I'll do like some really big like squats or like, just something where I'm really bending the knee a lot, and do that just to see if anything feels like there's like a hiccup or a hitch or catching anywhere. So that's it. Sean Marshall says, what's been the biggest running industry flop? My vote is the Hyperion Elite 1, the one with the DNA 0 in it. Isn't that what it was? DNA 0? I think it was DNA 0. That one. Yeah. All right. Jennifer Herring's here. Good to see you. Let's see. Leona Wong says her old shoes go to Goodwill, Salvation Army, or become garden shoes. Well, I did have that pair of Wave Rider 23s that became my lawn mowing shoes. They were great for that. Good grip because they have those thick, like rubber outsoles. But my shoes do go to Goodwill, Salvation Army, or whatever the charity is around here. Although these days here, once my shoes get to 100 miles, I usually retire them for my use. And then now I've been sending over to my nieces and nephews. One of my nephews is about my size now. He's also like 14, but he's because like the other nephew is a senior in high school, and I think he's like a 10 and a half or 11. He's tall. And but the younger brother or the middle brother, he I think is a size 9 these days. He doesn't run, but I think when you're that age, like having like a fresh rotation of shoes every like couple of weeks, I think is pretty interesting. So I've been sending them to him, and then whatever he doesn't want gets donated. So that's what I've been doing with them. JC says, how's the sinus infection? You still sound a little nasal. I'm a little bit, yeah. I feel like I'm doing a lot of draining. So like I've had a little bit of like a scratchy throat, but most of the pain that was associated with it is gone. I'm not congested when I sleep anymore. So I feel like I'm just about kicked it. I think like in 2 days I'll be like 100%. Yeah. Cameron McBride says in terms of his warm up, he got that slant board SJD has to do some warm up / cool down movement, and it's legit. Yeah, I really want to do like the squats that he does on that. I feel like that will load my tendons that I feel like I'm trying to rehab in the right way. But I've been doing single leg squats as well as part of like some rehab, and some of them usually they're assisted, because otherwise I think it's my quad that's not strong enough for it, and so I might need to work on some quad strength, which seems weird, but I think that's what I need to do. And that also seems to help a lot. Yesterday, I had my longest run in a long time. Probably my longest run since the Heritage Trail FKT, which was a half marathon. And I foolishly did not take care of my knee like the rest of the day, because it hurt. Like about the 10-mile mark, I was like, oh, my knee thing definitely is not gone. I was still able to do the run fine, but I was just like, I feel it. And then the rest of the day, I was mobile and moving around. We did lots of Halloween stuff. My wife set up like a scavenger hunt for the kids because we didn't do trick or treating, even though most of this town did maskless trick or treating with kids like running around with their friends and lots of other people that don't live in their household. It's crazy, but we didn't let our kids do that. So instead, we did like my wife got these little like plastic cauldrons and jack-o'-lanterns, and then put the finger lights, those little lights that you can put on your fingers, inside them, and then there was prizes associated with it. So we did like an outdoor scavenger hunt. My wife set it up. It was beautiful, and we did it in the dark. And but I didn't do. Normally, I do a lot of like massaging of like my knee and the tendons in that area, and doing that exercise, the single leg squat, pistol squats. And I didn't do any of those last night. And then this morning when I woke up, I was like, ooh, knee doesn't feel great. So I have to be more diligent. Yeah, all right. Danny J says, unless you're talking about a shoe that's unreleased with no info to be found, but I'd rather you spend time talking about the basic idea of the shoe with your experience. I could look up the foam material. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. It's information I try to provide to put it all in one spot. Same thing with like, heel drops and like stack heights. I don't think it's like super important, but like if you don't have it, especially the heel drop, like I'd be happy to not report those at all. But like I've done that before and people are like, what's the heel drop? And I'm like, here's the link to the Googling that I did. You can look at it too, so like I'm not going to measure it. I'm not going to get calipers out and measure what the heel drop is, and I'm not going to measure the stack height. I'm going to go with what's stated. And same thing with the weight too. But like to the extent that it's, easily discernible information on the internet, I'll just, put it in there. But I do try to make it about like, how does a normal person talk about this? It's easy because I do run in a lot of the different shoes to get super like, food critic about it, and get like very esoteric about things. But I always, and this is something that Jamie taught me, is like you got to make sure you're like talking to all the people. You can't just there's a space for like shoe nerds, and nerding out over a shoe, and getting very specific about it. I feel like that works for like the super shoes when you're talking about marathon racers. But like when you're talking about like a daily trainer, we're talking about like the Boston 9, hopefully I'm making it so that like a regular person who's like, oh, is this shoe for me? Oh, is it a speed shoe? That's not what I wanted. And I don't want this shoe. Like, hopefully they're able to get that out of it. Amanda says, talking about warming up and doing the slow first mile, says, I can't do a slow first mile. Pip is so excited to go running. I have to work hard to keep at a normal pace. Oh, man, I can see that. I can definitely see that. All right, let's get a couple more. And then, was it Arnold Ellen says, why are you not mentioning heel drop in this live stream? What's the Beacon 3 version 3 drop? I don't know what the Beacon 3 drop is. I think it's 10 millimeters. That's, I think, what it is. I don't know what the heel drop is for the Fresh Foam More Trail. I really don't. It looks like there's a ton of stack height on it, but I'm guessing in the heel it's probably in the 30s with maybe like, I wonder what the heel drop is. I bet you it's a 10 millimeter drop. Sean Marshall says, getting some real cayenne pepper notes in this fresh. Oh yeah, that's getting pretty meta. All right, Gary S. thinks it's 8. Oh, Jody says the more trail, 4 millimeter drop. That's surprising with a taller stack height. I bet there's a rocker in there. Roadrunner Review says, I dig talking about the, where'd it go? I dig talking about the foam. Yeah. I mean, I want to be informative and correct in terms of like what foam's in there, because it does make a difference. But yeah, it's always it's a balancing act. You got to thread the needle kind of. All right, Mark Chan Coco's got a Gulshan Paul says, anyone else here kids? Yeah, that's my kids downstairs. That's why I said it's about time for me to go. They like once the live stream starts getting a little long, that's when like they're getting a little impatient and they want to go play. I mean, they're with my mother-in-law and my wife, and so they're playing. But yeah, they're ready for some more attention. All right, so we'll do this as the last question for today, and then we'll go. Half marathon race: Vaporfly next, Vaporfly Flyknit, or Endorphin Speed. I think for a half marathon, I'd probably go with the next percent. But any 3 of those is going to be a lot of fun. I think you're going to enjoy all of those. I PR'd in the Vaporfly next percent, and then my second fastest half marathon is in the Vaporfly Flyknit. And then the Endorphin Speed, I just love that shoe. So I think I might run in them this week. I'm going to try, even though this is Saucony. The Endorphin Speed, I don't really think ever really gave me a problem. I think I might try and ride in the Ride 13 again this week too. I'm ready to test the waters, so we'll see. But and that's a side note, doesn't really answer Mark's question. But yeah, I would go Vaporfly next, be my first choice. All right, that's where I gotta leave it for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in for today. Tomorrow's video is going to be about a new watch. So I've been working on that, been wearing it, testing it out. I'll be putting that video out tomorrow, and then we'll do Monday mukbang, 3 p.m. Central Time. I'm going to eat some honey stinger chews. We'll see how it goes. You guys told me so much about how like some of them were super gross, so I am kind of looking forward to that because it should be funny. It'll be good internet. All right. Yeah. So that's what I got going on. In the meantime, till tomorrow, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.